What's up, everybody? Mon 13 here, and well, let's just get on with this. It's like 1:25 in the morning, and I'm gonna be honest, I just really couldn't wait to make this part, so we're making it like this part, and then I'm gonna take my ass to bed since I got school tomorrow. Even though I'll probably just sleep through most of it. I already have all A's, so you know. But besides that. Also, I'd like to clarify ages of our older characters. Lincoln, Chandler, and Clyde are all 17 currently. Kimiko, if she lived, would have been 18 by now. Fu is 19, and, well, that's it. Those are the ages. So, yeah. Now that we got that out the way. Excuse me. Ugh, what the fuck was that? I couldn't swallow. I have zero idea what that part. I just couldn't swallow for a second. Like, get the word out, you know? Alright, but, like, I think I was slightly choking on my own spit. No, we won't get into it. I don't want to think about it anymore. So, yeah. So, we start this off, like, a couple of days before the training exams. Yeah, I say a couple, like 5-ish. Yeah, I say like yeah. Let's go with 5-ish days before the training exam second round start, which we're gonna get through the Konoha Crush arc. Basically, throughout all of this, well, should be, or else it'll be next part. But you know. Okay, so starting our story off, well, obviously, we get to we get to a desolate, destroyed ground, as we see Lincoln holding a blue spherical ball in his hand. Finally did it. He lets out. As well, we see that, as he says, a Rasengan. And well, Lincoln was actually the same with Naruto. We could only do it with a Shadow Clone when they learned it. But Lincoln Lincoln and wanting to protect the Jitsu so he wouldn't have to waste his time doing that. He's been training extra longer than Naruto. So he could, get it down to just being able to use one hand, and he finally did it. It just took him like an extra week of training. As he damn near collapses on the floor, as we can see multiple giant holes in the ground around him, basically crushed and destroyed rocks, you know. Lincoln's been going, ham in here. Even his clothes are a little bit torn. And that's when we see someone come up to him, Fu. With him giving her a hey, you know, as she helps him up. And, well, as she helps him up, all that stuff, yada yada, they talk. And Fu eventually asks him if he wants to go to, like, Ikiraka Ramen, somewhere like that. As Lincoln looks at her and asks her if she's asking him on a date. With her shaking her head, Lincoln says, why not? As well, Lincoln's already gone over. Like, it's been a year since Kimiko's death, and the reason Lincoln was kind of still, out of it is because he just didn't, it's more so like he wasn't ready for a relationship. It's just that he kind of still blamed himself for what happened. He's basically been constantly blaming himself for not stopping Itachi. And so, that's the reason why Lincoln kind of spiraled in the raging depression, basically. So it's not the fact that, he's still hung up on Kimiko. He's accepted her death. He just blamed himself for it. And thus, which is why he says, sure. They have a nice time. I really don't know what to tell you about it. Lincoln still, they have like a nice time. Nothing's set in stone right now as, Lincoln, it stemmed from Lincoln blaming himself. He still doesn't really know if he's ready for a full-on relationship. With Fu telling him if he's willing to wait. And so they go home, meet Naruto. And, well, I don't know. And so we skip 5 days later. 5 later, the tuning exams. And, well, the first fight is Sakura versus Fu, and, well, we all kind of know how that ends. I'm sorry, I just couldn't really think of pinning Sakura up against anyone else. So, she loses. I mean, kinda really bad. So, yeah. After that, more fights still go on, which we finally get to our main fight. One of our main fights. Clyde versus Chandler. As the two get ready to throw down, with the two rushing at each other, going from blow to blow with taijutsu, which eventually leads with Clyde going for a sweep kick for Chandler to jump in the air before throwing Shuriken down. Why not? With Clyde jumping out the way before, I say he throws a kunai with an explosive tag on it. Why not? Which leads to Chandler using Earth Wall to defend himself. But as the next thing he knows, the spikes break out from the Earth Wall, damn near impelling him as he jumps out. As you see that Clyde has his Sharingan activated. With him saying, so we're going there, huh? With him activating his Byakugan. If you want to know what his eyes, Chandler's eyes look like, they look like his maroonish hair. Yeah, he's a Hyuga that doesn't have this normal human Hyuga eyes. He has maroonish hair. That's what he has. So, yeah, maroonish hair, that's what he has. We're gonna say that. Maroonish hair and maroonish eyes as they turn into the Byakugan. As we see the two get back into a taijutsu sprawl as, well, more like Chandler pushes it as Clyde's trying to avoid him, knowing that he could get his chakra points blocked. And so we see him do a spin kick, missing obviously, but as Chandler goes to touch him, he ends up substituting out of there before letting off a Chidori stream, which actually licks contact, just shocking Chandler and sending him back a little bit before he hops up and lands on his feet with the dust spurting behind him. As we see the two go back to blows even more, as they start throwing jitsu around, water style, fire style, wind style, basically start throwing random shit at each other at this point. Whatever they can throw, which eventually this leads to a circle happen after a fire and water dragon's jutsu collided, which as we see coming out of it is Clyde with a Chidori charged up as he rushes Chandler, scraping him a little bit before getting back up and holding it down, a Chidori to his head, telling him to call the game. More like he holds it at the back near his throat, telling him to call it. And before Chandler can even do anything, Clyde reveals a new move, a Chidori Blade, as he turns the Chidori into, a blade. So, yeah. And so this leads to Chandler calling it quits and forfeiting the match, knowing that, really, unless he was able to use 64 palms, there's no way he's getting out of this. But even then, he knows Clyde and knows that he might try some shit. And so he gives up. So, yeah. While he gives up, Clyde moves on to the next round. We see Lincoln, he kicks some random DLC's ass. So, yeah. Now then, we get to another fight we all been waiting for, Sasuke versus Gaara. Oh, what's that? Sasuke hasn't showed up yet? Naruto versus Neji, which plays out mostly like canon. The difference being that Naruto has the Rasengan now, and he can control Kurama's chakra better. And so, also I just say that Naruto is all around the same strength level as Neji. In fact, just a little bit higher. It's just that Neji is more skilled. So yeah, this fight is mostly about Naruto having to be smart about what he does and how he throws his power around. Which it ends with a chakra boosted Naruto, just using the chakra, not going into like the Zero Tails mode or anything like that. So yeah, it ends with a Rasengan QB close. Well, QB boost, chakra boosted Rasengan versus rotation, which ends with Neji in the wall. As Naruto gives him still his same speech, but just a little bit better since, well, Naruto's obviously had a better life here in general than what he had in canon. I mean, yeah, sure, his mother figure was kind of murdered by someone who he thought was like an uncle. But, yeah, we'll move on to that when we get to that trauma. Which, also, I forgot to mention, Naruto also has just a slight angerance against Itachi here. For, well, obvious reasons. He murdered the woman that was basically like his mother, so, I mean, yeah. So, yeah, Naruto actually has a slight vendetta against Itachi. But besides that, yeah, this is when Sasuke shows up in his all-black fit, you know. And that, just goes a lot easier in canon for Sasuke. He doesn't have to restrain himself as much. Again, he's been training with Clyde, someone who's, well, high Jonin level already. Well, or at least mid Jonin level. Basically, it ends a lot faster, which leads to Gaara losing his shit a lot faster, which leads to the Konoha crush happening a little bit earlier in canon. Which the first one to wake up is, well, the QB ends up waking Lincoln up, telling him that it would be wise for him not to get captured or killed here, as he wouldn't just want to be left alone with the brat. But Lincoln telling him, yeah, big giant fox misses. You know, something like that. Something to talk shit. And he's mainly doing this reason being because he he can't do anything while in that cage. Well, I mean, he could probably try to stick his claws out and stab him, but, Lincoln could probably just jump away. I don't know why I'm getting into this. So, yeah. Lincoln wakes up first, followed by Clyde and Chandler. Well, Clyde wakes up somewhat a lot. He breaks out of the Genjutsu really easy, which then lays him waking Chandler up, Naruto, and some of the other Jonin. As Lincoln kind of just feel the fact that Sasuke is after him, so Lincoln ends up putting a team together. Him, Chandler, and Clyde to go get Sasuke and also stop Shikaku. And so, also, you know what? I'm gonna be nice. Naruto, Hinata ends up waking up and going to Naruto. Gives him a kiss on the cheek before he goes. Good luck, yeah. And so we see them all rush off, as they all grab on the Lincoln while he teleports to one of his kunais out in the forest. So this leads to them finally be able to rush and go. I mean, they're still shot by Kankuro and Tamari, which Shikamaru still kind of whooped her ass. Well, he gave up, so yeah. I mean, so yeah, they're stopped by Kankuro and Tamari, and well, Chandler and Clyde decides to deal with these two. So it doesn't lead to Shino nearly getting killed. Actually, no, they come with. So Shino and Clyde against Kankuro. Who the hell fought Tamari? Whoever fought Tamari plus Chandler. Basically, it ends a lot easier and a lot better since, well, Actually, no, those fights still go similar to canon. They actually tell the others to go on ahead. Go deal with whatever the hell's happening. So, yeah. This is when we see a nearly down Sasuke. Well, still able to move, but being paralyzed by his curse mark. Which Clyde's also kind of had that problem during his fight with Chandler. So, yeah. So while that's happening, we see that, Gaara's in his half one-tailed state. Ew, that's what it looks like for the other Jinchuriki. Lincoln thinks to himself, as he thinks that, all the other Jinchuriki after Shikaku have it a lot better. He says. But, besides semantics. So yeah, they jump in, kick Shikaku, Gaara Kaku in the face. Actually, who the hell was the one in control? I kind of forgot. It was Gaara or Shikaku, I can't remember right But yeah, here's the problem. Shikaku was released a lot earlier here too. Reason being, again, well, Shikaku actually has to get released a lot earlier here, which he lets off a Tilt Beast Bomb this time, actually. Yeah. So yeah, Shikaku gets broke out easier, and he also lets off a mini Tilt Beast Bomb, just enough to blow up the portion of the forest they're in. Which leads to, well, only a couple of them still being awake, as some of them shielded the others from the attack. Which we see Naruto and Lincoln being mostly fine, slightly bloodied up, but Clyde ended up protecting Sasuke and well, all of them. Well, Lincoln protected him and Naruto. Clyde ended up protecting him, Sasuke, Sakura, and Chandler. But Lincoln, Sakura and Sasuke will be unconscious, I say. Chandler and Clyde will wait here to keep him safe as they tell Naruto and Lincoln to go kick his stand ass. Which they proceed to go do. And thus this leads to Naruto and Lincoln ended up summoning Gamabunta. Well, more like Lincoln. Actually, not. While Lincoln's getting ready to prepare to fight him, Naruto summons Gamabunta. With Lincoln being proud of Naruto for him being able to do this, as they both proceed to end up transforming Gamabunta into the Nine Tails, as he claws and bites into him, as we see Naruto and Lincoln jump out, headbutt Gaara. So, yeah. As they headbutt Gaara, almost said Bara. So, as they headbutt Gaara and to get his senses together, yeah. This knocks him unconscious, stuff like that. Which it ends with Naruto and Gaara still jumping at each other, headbutting, bringing each other down. And while they're crawling to each other, Lincoln jumps down to Gaara before charging his hand with, his 5 fingers with chakra, lighting him on fire as he grabs Gaara by the stomach and ends up tightening the Shikaku seal. With Lincoln telling him that should stop the whole, that'll stop the whole you can't sleep anymore thing. Lincoln tells him, with Gaara being surprised that even though he damn near destroyed their village, he'd be willing to help. As Lincoln tells him that he knows what it's like to lose control to the Tilt Beast. But sometimes you have to be stronger and control them. Or at least have hope that it'll be alright. And thus, Lincoln ends up making Shikaku's seal a lot stronger here. And not some low-grade D version of whatever the fuck they had in canon. Which, I swear, whoever made the seal like that in canon was just planning for someone to have a downfall. I truly believe whoever made the seal wanted Shikaku to burst out eventually and that's my own little personal headcanon. Whoever did Shikaku's seal and all the Jirikirin was just kind of hoping that one day he'd pop out and wipe out the Sand Village. Or at least damn near do half of it. I truly believe that's one. I mean, I know it's probably because just the Sand Village is shit, but hey, at least it gives a motive besides, they just didn't care enough. Since, while they were stupid enough to antagonize the boy and torture him, they weren't stupid enough to. I don't think they'd be stupid enough to just give him a shit seal. But at the same time, it is a Sand Village, so I mean, I don't really know, but besides that, okay, so, Hiruzen versus the other cop, everything still goes as canon, so when Lincoln and, Temari and Kankuro show up, and then, they take Gaara back to the Sand Village, and when they get back to the Leaf, they find out the unfortunate news that the third Hokage is dead. Which, while this hits everyone, one of the people it hits the most is Lincoln. Since the third Hokage actually decided to check in on, the reason the Hokage didn't really check in on Naruto that much is because Lincoln was here in this universe. So he didn't really have, a reason to check in all that much. Well, I mean, he did give him money before Lincoln could go on missions, stuff like that. And even still, they give him some money. So, yeah. Wow, and considering the fact that Lincoln and Lord Third is the one that trained Lincoln in most of the jutsu he knows, hell, Shao Shuriken Jutsu, he even let him read the Forbidden Scroll, well, make a copy of it. Basically, Lincoln is damn near destroyed by this. But, as he realizes, but he knows that he wouldn't want him to cry. As Lincoln looks at the statues and realizes that, maybe one day he might step up. Well, as he looks at the Hokage faces from the first to the fourth, he realizes that one day maybe he might step up. Maybe he might be ready to be the person the leader that the village needs. Now then, Lincoln doesn't really care if he becomes Hokage or not. Like, if the village needs him to become Hokage, he will. He'll be the person to step up until, well, Naruto can do it. But he decides in that moment, if the village ever needed him to step up, he'll do it. And so, during this time, Lincoln was also promoted to Chunin by, Lincoln, Chandler, and Clyde are all finally promoted to Chunin, with Fu being 2, but she doesn't really wear the vest. So now Lincoln wears what's on the screen now. Except, the vest is green. So yeah, black pants, the shoes. Lincoln's shirt is kind of like Minato's. Well, it kind of looks like Minato's. It's blue at the top, black at the end, and has blue stripes on it. And, well, he has a green vest on. His sword, the 1,000 Demon Dagger sword on his back, stuff like that. And so, yeah, that's his death. Now then, we skip a couple of days as, well, they try to get Dry to do it, but he says no. So, here's the thing. In this universe, so, yeah, he gets Lincoln, Naruto, tells him to come on, saying that he'll find someone who could be Hokage, which is not him. And, what time is it? I probably haven't been recording for that long. Oh, shit. Oh, time to keep doing it. Alright, you know what? Yeah. So, yeah. While this is going on, basically, Kisame and Itachi finally enter the village. And while Lincoln, Izuku, and Clyde, and Chandler... Actually, no, I say Chandler helped out in the fight with Orochimaru. I mean, he probably couldn't do that much, but just know that he was actually able to do much, so where he didn't have to use Reaper Death Seal that much. I mean, it still killed him, but just enough for him to get out his final few words. I mean, also the sword through his chest, that also, kind of helped. But, well, I mean, Petty Maru still lost his arms, and I said Pedo Maru still lost his arms. So, yay! And, well, he also lost one of his arms in, general. The Chandler cut one of his hands off. So, yeah, or at least severed it permanently. He cut the chakra network. And then he cut his arm off. Nah, I just severed the chakra network. I'll leave it at that. Fuck it. So, yeah. The boys all have their tuning vest on. As well, we see them. And so, Chandler also just straight up decides that he'll come along with Justin. Actually, no. He decided that he'll just stay here in the village and protect it while they're gone. Basically, so, since he's one of the strongest ninja there right about now, he knows that, well, so yeah, he stays there protected. And so, we finally get to Itachi opening that door. And, well, when Naruto opens the door and Lincoln sees who it is, the next thing that building faced was a Rasengan charged by one of Lincoln's jutsus that he made. Compressed wind. Well, compressed torrent. Basically, it's supposed to wrap around the user's arm and shoot out wind in front of it to, like, well, you know, basically an AoE attack. So that mixed with a Rasengan equals bad news for the environment, as he blew a hole through the building entirely before jumping out the way and telling Itachi, what the hell does he think he's doing here with his Mangekyo Sharingan flashing to life, with Itachi saying, it seems like when I transplanted those eyes, they actually went along perfectly. And when Lincoln telling Itachi, I'm gonna kill you. Since Lincoln still has immense hatred for his once former best friend. It's one of his former best friends. And so, Clyde also steps into this while Chandler takes on Kisame. Him and Naruto take Kisame, even though Naruto wants to fight Itachi since, you know, he still kind of lost his, well, technical mom. But, you know, besides that. So, yeah, as we see Naruto and Clyde brush Itachi as they clash arms, fighting. Now, and eventually Sasuke comes, but he doesn't really... Yeah, well, he tries and gets thrown into a wall and, well, did like normal, but Itachi isn't able to pull off a Tsukiyomi as a kunai comes and cuts his hand. As Lincoln tells him that he won't be putting Sasuke through the same shit he put him through. Since, you know, Itachi used Tsukiyomi on Lincoln. So, yeah. As bubbles start to surround Lincoln, as his teeth starts to grow into fangs, as, well, his eyes turn into slits, as it's revealed to show the Three-Tails cloaks around him. As Lincoln tells Itachi he's gonna enjoy killing him before rushing at him. In a similar way that Naruto did to Orochimaru, and basically throws Itachi through half of the building. Like below. As Kisame gets blasted away with a Chidori stream by Clyde. So, yeah. While that happens, Itachi is revealed to have summoned his Susanoo ribcage to take the hit. As Lincoln jumps down in front of him. Well, with obviously anger and hatred in his face. With Itachi seeing that, it seems like unlike Sasuke and Clyde, your hatred has made you stronger. As Clyde and Sasuke hear this, but he knows that it's probably better. He knows that getting in the way of Lincoln while in one of his cloaks isn't a smart idea, since it's more than likely he'll get caught up in the damage as well. So he just stands back and deals with Kisame, So he just helps Chandler, Sasuke, and Naruto deal with Kisame. And with him being able to steal their chakra, it's mostly just a hand-to-hand fight. I mean, they get some of the jutsu hits in, but we're not here for them. We're here for Lincoln versus Itachi. As Lincoln yells out a menacing roar that... Well, everyone's evacuated the building at this point. Which we see Lincoln rush Itachi again. With Itachi lighting a fireball jutsu that Lincoln kind of just screams away. As Lincoln looks at Itachi before stretching one of his arms out into a fist, which slams against the Susanoo, breaking Itachi back. Well, sending Itachi back, you know. So, while this is happening, as Lincoln starts to throw more destructive attacks before saying fuck it entirely and trying out something else he was training in that wasteland to control his four-tail state, which he's getting pretty close to it. He's still a little bit rabid and violent, but besides that, he has most control. So, as Itachi starts to see Lincoln's skin turn reddish, finally Lincoln grows an extra tail, showing his four-tail state. As Lincoln knows, he also only has really a limited time in this since his body. He's already wrecked his body enough by going into the three-tail state, since Lincoln can really only handle 2 and 3. And three, just for like a couple, like 10 to 20, 15 minutes at most. And, well, in the foretell state, I say he has about like 4 minutes before his body gives out on him and he has to go down. As he tells himself, those 4 minutes are all he's going to need to kill him before rushing Itachi again, which this time just downright destroys the rest of the other half of the building they're in, sending Itachi out the hotel before Lincoln fires a mini-tail beast bomb at him. As Lincoln really doesn't care about the damages. He cares about Itachi's head on the floor. So, yeah, which leads to Itachi actually pull out the Yada mirror, sending it back, which Lincoln sends out another tail beast bomb to counter it before rushing at Itachi. As we see one of his clawed hands coming down, well, he gets behind Itachi and slashes at the back. As Itachi... And just before Lincoln attacks him again, Itachi disappears in the crows. As he knows that if this keeps up, eventually one of them are going to lose. And, well, also because we know Itachi's plan and everything. So he turns from the crows as Lincoln drops out of the foretell mode before starting to walk after him again, just hurt and slow, making his way back into the building. As Itachi ends up grabbing Kisame and they get the hell out of there. And so that's how that went. With Lincoln finally getting back up there, him screaming, "Damn it." Now then, So yeah, while that happened, Jiraiya finally gets here, actually, since this all happened, like, before he could get there, yada yada. As he ends up picking Lincoln's up and takes him to the hospital, which, after another week, we see them finally. And so, yeah, with Jiraiya knowing that Lincoln probably doesn't want to talk about why he was so willing to, legit level a part of the village with that tailed beast bomb. But, well, he knows about the Uchiha massacre, and from what Hiruzen told him, he was close with one of the Uchiha, so, he's not pulling really the pin on that grenade. So, yeah, Sasuke is morally fine here. He has more time to dwell on his thoughts. Same with Clyde. As we see that Clyde thinks about staying back, which, what also see during the fight, Clyde's curse mark ended up coming out, which led to why Kisame was so intent on running too, even though he knew it would have been a great fight, a tactical retreat. And thus this leads to Clyde to have some things to think about. And thus, well, fine. As we see, so Clyde actually decides to stay at the village again, also just in case Itachi shows up again looking for Fu. So yeah. And with that, we end this part off with Lincoln and Naruto and Jiraiya walking out of the village. And also with that, Martin 13, signing out.